Okay, and I'm guessing we're live. There we go. We're live. Hi, everybody. My name is Scott Salvarian. I am the Director of Industry Relations here at Sierra Interactive and also an EXP agent. So super excited to be here with everybody. I believe we're doing this live. So if you can put where you're from in the chat, make sure you guys can hear me out there. Make sure the audio is working. I am really excited to be here today for a couple of reasons. Number one, just to try to add some value to your day. We're going to be talking about using Sierra Interactive and how top producing teams utilize it within their businesses. The other thing I'm super excited about is my guests I have today. I am privileged to have two people join me today who are obviously Sierra clients. The first one is Kendall Bonner, who I got to assume you know, VP of Industry Relations at EXP and also a proud Sierra client and happy, I'm assuming. And then we've got Jonathan Alfonso. Jonathan is a powerful team leader out of Miami, Florida. So if you have any referrals, reach out to Jonathan after this, down Miami area. He's also the president of his MLS board. So he runs a super powerful team out of South Florida. And we're gonna be talking to him today as well. We really appreciate you guys being here. Can't thank you enough for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Great. So I want to start off, like I said, what we want to talk about today is really how top teams, and we've got two top teams here within EXP, are leveraging Sierra for success. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, Sierra is a full service IDX website and CRM platform, really the operating system of your business. And I've just got a couple questions here. I want to have a kind of a fireside chat conversation with you guys, if that's okay. And let's start on the website side. We'll sort of start there and then work our way into the CRM piece. But Kendall, over to you. Like, what made you guys have been Sierra clients for a long time, and we thank you for that. What made you guys choose Sierra for your team's website, if you can remember that far back?
Actually, I absolutely can, because it wasn't that long ago. I actually have a baby team that my husband and I started back in 2021, and we started from scratch. And the thing that I think I did differently than I think most team leaders do is I was very strategic and intentional with how I started the team and how I raised the team up from scratch, because I did not personally sell real estate with my team. I actually train new licensees and agents who were looking to really grow their business because they, on their own, they had not achieved the level of success that they wanted to achieve. And so I went to a bunch of leaders across the country. So I know some, I'll even say industry famous team leaders across the globe. And I hired John Cheplak as my coach as well at that time when I got started. And so I went to all of them and I was asking lots of questions. I interviewed them. I said, what are you doing? How are you marketing? Basically, what did you learn? What works? What doesn't work? And I also asked, what the tools, what was their tech stack like? What tools were they using? And I actually was given 2 website recommendations, and Sierra being one of them. And I also was looking for something that I could grow with, because a lot of people, I think, when they start a business, not just a team, but any business, everyone starts with trying to do it with the lowest budget possible, which I think is a mistake. What you should be doing is trying to find the tools that are going to work for you today and tomorrow. And that was what was really important to me, and a tool I could grow with, a tool that would stand the test of time. And so that was why I picked Sierra Interactive as my website, because it allowed me to scale, number one. Number two, it had the right, I'll say, bells and whistles for me that I wanted. It was also, I'll say, semi-customizable, although I've done a lot of customization to mine, like a ton. And it had a lot of the stuff that I needed to be able to maximize its impact, which I'm very, very, very proud of the website that I have at Sierra.
That's great. That's great. I appreciate that. And what we're doing is obviously talking to top producing teams. And what I heard from you is really you went out in the beginning and figured out what worked, what other people had success with. I mean, that's the beginning of a top producing team, right? And focusing on helping your agents be productive So you're learning what you need to pass on to your agents is just awesome. So thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Jonathan, how about you? What brought you to Sierra?
Well, listen, I have to definitely echo everything that Kendall said because we had a very similar thought process. And not to take up too much time, I'll keep it simple. I just want to, I think where I would add on is I think she's absolutely right. We did the same thing. We copied others. I remember I was traveling. I was at one of my coaching conferences at Tom Ferry, and I literally I'm newer to the game in terms of forming a team. We only started 4 years ago.
Yeah,
But I just started looking around and finding out who all the top producing teams were, and I started going on their websites, and I
awesome.
found a pattern, and I saw a couple of them, and then I narrowed down and I went there. The only thing I would add that, Kendall touched on a little bit, and this is something I hear often when people are talking, and I really don't think Sierra is an expensive option by any means. Obviously, expensive is different to different people. I think it's a
Sure.
very reasonably priced system, and I love what I get, but I think Kendall touched on an important point that a lot of people get caught up in how much expense or what it's going to cost me. And I always approach it from a different mindset, which is it's not an expense, it's an investment, right?
Right. Right.
My CRM is an investment into my business of making sure that my database is being interacted with and how we're going to market to our database. So for me, it's, I think a lot of people get caught up in, I hear it all the time. People will call me, well, you're on Sierra, but like you can get this for $10 less a month. I don't get caught up in that, right?
Yeah.
I look for effectiveness,
Yeah.
and that to me is important.
That's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. And looking at it as an investment, especially, your tech stack is probably going to change over the years, but your CRM is really the foundation. CRM and website are really the foundations of your business. And, there's a lot of people out there that know how painful it is to move from one system to the next. So to do your due diligence like you said, and make sure you're getting the value for what you're paying for and what you're investing in, super important. That's great. That's great. And Kendall, you mentioned that you guys have customized your site a lot. You've done a lot of work to your site. Work meaning building it out. Making it the way you want. How does the website play in your lead gen strategy?
Oh gosh, it's everything. In fact, that was probably another special or different thing I did with my team compared to most teams. Like I did not start a business around Google, or I'm sorry, Zillow, realtor.com, a lot of the portals. I did not start a business around door knocking and open houses. I had actually a passion. Part of the reason I started my team was because I had a passion for lead generation and marketing. And so I had a vision for what I wanted to do with that site, which was I did go all in on Google, right? And so the Sierra site is such a powerful site. And it was one of the reasons why I chose it, because it was well known as, one of the best in class for online conversion and registration and capture rate for the type of marketing I wanted to do, which was putting the marketing budget in my hands, right? So I'm not beholden to the big portals. I don't feel like I overpay for marketing or leads because I actually went all in on SEO. So I get a ton of organic traffic. In fact, I rank pretty high in Tampa for real estate agents. And then I also, run Google ads through my Sierra website, and it allows me to lead capture, grab that information, bring that into the CRM, and then follow up and assign it to an agent on the team as appropriate. So it's 100%. It's like how I get recruits from it. I get customer buyers and sellers from my website. I get luxury deals from my website. So for anyone that thinks they have to have a luxury specific website, that's not true. We have actually gotten from our website and our lead generation $1 million plus clients in the Tampa Bay area, and more than multiples, right? So it's absolutely because my market's not known for luxury in the same way like a Miami or a New York or a California market is.
Sure.
So that I'm really impressed and proud of what our site's been able to do and to convert.
Super cool. That's great. And yeah, obviously, Sierra was built on a proprietary SEO framework to be able to enable our clients to take advantage of that. And our digital marketing team in-house that runs those pay-per-click ads and Facebook retargeting ads is really second to none. So that's great that you guys are taking advantage of that. And if we could take a look, I want to bring up your website now so we can show our audience here. So let me share my screen and And there we go. So here's a look at Kendall's website. And Kendall, help us walk through. I don't want to walk through all the details here and what you guys really leverage, but tell us a little bit about how you've taken advantage of the ability to build your website out with community pages and things like that.
Yeah, so I've done a bunch of stuff. So one, we SEO in the background, so with links and backlinks and all of that. We did community pages. We did custom pages, right? So I have a custom About Kendall page. The other thing is I did a widget and an add-on for reviews. So all of our reviews from Zillow, Facebook, Google, all of that lives on our, if you scroll down that page, see, there's a pop-up widgets that will lead capture on non-traditional capture pages, right? Because the traditional lead capture that Sierra offers is like, hey, I'm looking at a house, I want to see more, I want to know more, then it lead captures, right? I actually have an additional widget, so if someone lands on a page that there is no traditional lead capture, I'm still able to capture those leads. We have a video library with and I have blogs on there. We've done all kinds of stuff on here. There's tons of content that allows me to rank, as well as gets to be a place where people can come and learn more before they, feel like they're making any commitments, right? Sure. So those are some of the things that I've done.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, this is like crazy. You've got a ton of content on here, which is super impressive. And one of the things I like that I'm over right now, and we're seeing a lot of our team leaders be interested in and start rolling out, is the ability to build out pages that are focused on agent attraction, right? Like, hey, we're all at EXP here, right? Like you hear about agent attraction, you got people focusing on it at different levels. Well, you can actually create a page within your website like Kendall did here, that focuses on agent attraction, and you can take it one step further and potentially run ads to this page focused on the agents in your marketplace to be able to start conversations with them and even manage them in the back end of Sierra, putting them in a pond and messaging them separately than your buyer or seller lead. So it's super powerful. I love to see that you're using that, Kendall. That's great.
Oh yeah, it's been fun.
Super cool. Jonathan, I don't want to leave you out, man. So, I know and I'm gonna pull your site up here too. You guys it looks like you're using the same site type that we offer at Sierra. We offer 4 different looks of the homepage, and you guys have chosen the same one. But Jonathan, how does Sierra's site compare to others that you've used in the past?
Well, so for me, that one's difficult because we had a very basic system that we got like through the association, so I didn't have anything robust. Gotcha. What I would add to what Kendall was just mentioning, and how you can kind of leverage. For us, what was important was getting the consumer into our ecosystem, right? Like for us, consumers are clicking everywhere. So the fact that, the Sierra website is so powerful and they can search and we can track what they're doing, and our agents on the back end can see what they've looked at and they can make those calls. For us, that was important. And it was important on 2 fronts because, one of the big things in my team, what I always say is, the difficult thing with real estate is we spend so much time on activities that don't necessarily generate ROI. So you need to constantly be rethinking how you can turn something into how you can leverage data. So like one of the things I just even love to do is we started with no database. We're up to almost 20,000 contacts.
Yeah.
And we use Google just like Kendall does. So now when our listings get listed, I'm able to pull up Google Analytics and I'm able to show our sellers like, hey, by the way, for example, they like to talk about, how their property looks on, for example, Zillow, which shows views. And I'm often able to show, listen, your property only got 300 views there. In my system, we've got a new 1,800 views. Like we're promoting it more. And that's a value add where we're able to quantify, why having this database. And so Sierra, the fact that consumers like searching on the website and we're able to get them in, for me, it's been huge to have the website and keep them in my ecosystem.
That's great. That's great. I love that. And obviously the control that we put in your guys' hands to decide how many times you want somebody to be able to click on a property before they're either forced to log in or suggested to log in, and being able to throttle that based on different lead types and things like that, to make it more engaging and obviously keep people on your site longer. So that's great. Kendall, what advice would you have What advice would you have for teams taking a look at Sierra, considering Sierra for their website?
Great question. I think that, any advice I would give would be around, your website is a reflection of you, and you have a ton of options out there when it comes to websites. I would say this. I think there's two types of websites. There's vanity sites, and then there's lead generation, marketing, lead capture, and like, I'm going to do business with my site.
Okay. Yeah, great point. Yeah.
And I feel like if you are looking to actually have a website that's working for you, you need the latter. You need the second site. That's not a vanity site. Those vanity sites don't convert leads. They're not going to build your business the way that a site that works hard for you while you're sleeping does. And to me, that's what Sierra Interactive is. It is a website that's working for me while I'm actually doing my day job, right? So I would say if you want a business that actually generates business, this is the best site for you. I mean, I really don't think that I wouldn't go anywhere else, but I would say that there was nowhere else that even is on my radar to even look at outside of Sierra for something like this. Yeah.
We love hearing that for sure. I love that. And I was just talking to another group of agents today around, agents or team leaders sometimes look at technology and they get a little bit overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, Kendall put all this stuff on our website. Like, how much time is that going to take me? How much work? And while we put the control in your hands, understand that we also have a portfolio of partners that can help you with this kind of thing, right? Because at the end of the day, like, team leaders need to be motivating their agents and running their teams, not head down deep into, creating content or managing the content on their website.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hired outside third parties to help me. I did not do all this by myself. Number one. Number two, it took time, right? It's something that I didn't rank number one right away. It took a little bit of time, but we were able to get our website. Like, go search best Tampa real estate agents, and you'll see who ranks organically number one. Probably both paid and organically, but all of that is intentional, right? Because I didn't, and just real quick fact, I want to share this note. I chose to rank for agents as opposed to houses, because who's looking for houses? Buyers. And it's really competitive out there, right? You have Zillow and, realtor.com and all the big portals and all the big brands fighting over search. Well, who wants an agent? When someone goes online and they're looking for a real estate professional, these are home buyers, home sellers, other agents. And guess what? They typically are a little further down the funnel, right? Because they're actually ready to hopefully talk to someone and do more with that. So that's my little top tip, just big picture wise, and what I did and why that was important to me.
Yeah. Super smart. I love that. I love that, going after agent-based keywords, if you will. Super smart. So, Jonathan, you're still with us, man. I appreciate it. And what I'd like to do is sort of shift. And we've talked a little bit about the website. Like I said, we've got a couple cool different designs we can work on there. You're also using Sierra on the back end to run your organization from a CRM perspective. Now, obviously, the two technologies is actually one solid technology, so it's integrated perfectly. Tell me a little bit about how you run your team on Sierra, and why did you choose an all-in-one platform?
Very simply, I think doing the rounds and being a newer team, right? I was looking around, and one of the things I saw was a lot of paralysis by analysis, where people want to have all these shiny tools. And for me, it was super important to just have one platform that my agents can use. As it is, you hear this all the time from people like, I got X tool that does this one little thing, and then at the end of the day, the agents just aren't using it. So for me, and listen, it's proven true. I've made the mistake. We've tried to add other things, and then I look back 6 months later and the agents don't use it. But when it comes to Sierra, they have been, and we use it for many different metrics. We're tracking on the back end, even simple, because I think a lot of times, and especially for those of you out there watching, you look at the big teams, and I consider myself more in the middle. We're a 10 agent team, but there's a lot of you out there that are starting out, and it becomes overwhelming. So the easier that you can have one system, for me was important that they could log in and we could do a lot with it. We could see the searches that the clients are doing. I could look at the pipeline that my agent has, and based on the statuses, we can start to kind of go through it. We can look at call logs. All right, how many have you logged? There's To me, having that all in one platform, and I don't have to start using, and I know that some teams have inside people that are doing tech APIs so they can bring in data from everywhere. I don't have the bandwidth to do that. We're too small, and I think most of you out there are not. So this is why Sierra works, is because you can have it all in one platform. You can sit with your agent and you can figure out how can we convert some of your database, and how can we keep moving the ball forward. And there's so
Yeah.
many ways to do that in the platform.
Yeah, that's great. And what I'd like to do is share my screen one more time and show a little bit about that. It's great that you sort of walked us through there. But in regards to, what the agents will see, and making it easy for agents to use technology to leverage it in their business versus being a slave to it, which is not what any team leader wants, right? Like, it's hard enough to get these agents to log in to the system to begin with. People get in this business to sell houses, not to run technology. So the simpler you can make it for your agents, which is what we try to do here at Sierra, the better. Which is, having filters that they can just call through, understand they click on here, call through, and then move on with their day, and giving the team leader the ability to see are they making the calls, if not why, and if so, and they're not converting, let me help coach that agent in regards to what they're saying to help better convert those leads. So. Yeah, that's great, man. I appreciate that. Jonathan, tell me a little bit about your lead routing. Now, you mentioned you're doing Google. You're doing online lead gen for your team. How are you routing those leads? Because our lead routing is obviously super powerful in what you can do with it. And are the agents also responsible for bringing their own business to the table as well?
So there's a couple of things in there. One, and you were just showing the screen, and I will tell you, for those of you out there that have teams and want to recruit, like, one of my biggest recruiting pitches now is there is still so many agents out there that produce, for example, 10 to 20 units, and do $3 to $10 million in production, and they're working off an Excel spreadsheet. And one of my recruiting pitches has just been like, first thing I do is I give them the Sierra import template, and I'm like, I show them how to fill it out. I'm like, get me 100 contacts a week. I put them in there. I show them how to start setting them up on property searches, how to create those smart filters that you have, and we walk them through it. And that's been one of my recruiting pitches. So using the system, even something as simple as that, to show them the power of what they have available to them. And as to your second question with the lead routing, obviously it's going to be very dependent upon the lead source. So,
Okay.
we're always trying to modify that. And, as you all know, working with so many top teams, it's always going to depend, seller versus buyer leads.
Right.
We've worked around it, but I will say the system allows me, for example, we sparse out certain neighborhoods to certain agents where that's their farm, and we try to move it there. We do it by lead source. We also use the ponds a lot. Unfortunately, for us, PPC in my market is tougher because we're international. So, I'll get a lot of people searching for Messi's house, unfortunately, on my website. I wish I could sell it to them. But having all those different rules that we can easily make sure that our agents are focused on the leads they need to be focused on, and they're receiving those leads, and then the smart filters can, we organize it for them. So this is what you need to focus on. You're done here. You can go to the next smart filter. So that, to me, is invaluable.
I love that. And let's pull up. Let me share my screen one more time and show you, because I think the lead routing is so important, because, to your point, everybody runs their business different, right? That's one of the things I love about Sierra, and I'm a Sierra user for 6 years, right? Like, I work for the company, but is this business is great because you can run it a million different ways, and you can be successful structuring your team any different way you want. So we want to be able to be flexible in the design of our product, to be able to let all different types of team leads and team structures work, right? So some teams aren't, like you said, Jonathan, some teams are going to give certain area leads to certain agents on the team because they don't want to work in other areas. And we give you the flexibility in regards to lead routing to be able to do that. Some teams run, like, you have to qualify to be able to get team leads from the team, right? Like, if you meet these certain minimum standards, then you qualify to be able to start receiving leads, and we can be able to customize that for you and to be able to do that stuff. So that's great. I appreciate that. Bring it back around, because I do want to be respectful of everybody's time. Kendall, back to you. How does Sierra, in your opinion, support the growth of a high producing team?
I think there's a lot of opportunity there and a lot of support. Number one, I love the knowledge base, right? Just being able to not have to call someone, but to I'm very much like, my time is very limited. When I want an answer, I need an answer. I like to be able to go somewhere and like just get what I need. And I know that anything I need to learn about Sierra, I literally can go and search on the back end of the platform and in the knowledge base and get the answers I need. Like, it's very efficient. So I think that's actually super key when it comes for agents who need that support, to know that they have it. Like, I've almost never had to call you guys for anything. I've been able to literally navigate my website on my own, which I think is really powerful.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. And, we also want the agents to be empowered, not just to have them rely on the ops manager or ops director or team leader. So giving them access to our trainings, our live trainings. We have Ask Me Anything trainings, which you can drop into a Zoom room and just ask whatever question you have on the spot. I love that you pointed that out. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I just go and search and I get what I need. And I think like that's probably the best way that you can support us, right?
Yeah,
is just being accessible and having information at our fingertips. So that would be my one thing.
That's awesome. Thanks. Jonathan, back to you. What would you say to agents or teams that are hesitant to switch platforms?
Well, I think to those agents, I would say, number one, I think you need to figure out where you want to end up, right? And you need to ask yourself, where do we end up? And then ask yourself, what challenges are you having? Because no matter what it is that you're going through, I always struggle with agents and even people in different businesses, when the friction of doing the action is stopping them. And it's well, do you want a better future? And I think at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, there's a reason why you see so many top producing teams on Sierra and you see them being successful. So it's stopping you. Is that really an excuse? Because like everything else, like, we're all busy, we're all doing it. I mean, even me in my position, I'm looking at Kendall, she was showing her site, and the whole time I was thinking, damn, like I need to add some of this stuff, and I haven't got into it. But don't let the friction of saying you don't want to do it. You can find the time. And I would just say, you need to ask yourself, is this limiting my business? Because if so, there's opportunity on the other side. And listen, at the end of the day, like everything else in life, everything great lies on the other side of being uncomfortable. And yes, you're going to suffer a little, you're going to have to suffer through it, but the payoff is there. Just ask yourself, what specific features do I need? And look to see if, Sierra is going to address that for you. So
that makes sense. And I love that. Don't let the friction of doing it stop you from doing it. So that's great. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up. It's 1 minute away. So guys, I really, really appreciate your time with this. And appreciate your time, appreciate your guys' business as clients. We value you so much. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining us today. Really appreciate this. This is going to be posted, I believe, in eXp Solutions, and we'll get it out as well. Also wanted to mention, as a approved solutions provider, we do have customized pricing for eXp agents that we would love to share with you. If you want to find out more, get a demo on Sierra, just go ahead and reach out. We'd love to go through that with you and see if we're right for your business and your team. So thanks again so much. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, Scott. Bye, everyone.